You're staring at the screen right now. Maybe it's a blank document. Maybe it's an inbox. Maybe it's just a messy room that you've been meaning to clean for 3 days. And there's a voice in your head, quiet but cruel. It says, "What is wrong with you?" It says, "You had all day." It says, "You're lazy." Stop right there. That word, lazy. It's a lie. It's the laziest explanation for a very complicated problem. Because here's what's actually happening. Your brain isn't broken. It isn't weak. It's protecting you. What you're calling laziness is actually your nervous system hitting the brakes hard. It's a defense mechanism, a shield against discomfort it doesn't know how to handle. There's a name for this. It's called emotional dysregulation. And once you understand it, you'll never call yourself lazy again. Let's go inside your skull for a second. Deep in there, you have a small, almond-shaped structure. It's called the amygdala. Think of it as your brain's smoke detector. Its only job is to scan for danger constantly, every second, and it doesn't care if the danger is real or imagined. To your amygdala, a lion and a scary email can look almost the same. Now, right next to it, you have your prefrontal cortex. This is the calm, rational part of your brain, the planner, the adult in the room. It's the part that says, "Okay, let's break this down. Let's make a list. Let's start." But here's the problem. When the amygdala senses a threat, it doesn't ask permission. It hijacks the system. It floods your body with stress hormones, and the prefrontal cortex, the smart, logical part, gets pushed into the back seat. So when you sit down to do that task, the one you've been avoiding, and you feel this heavy, foggy resistance, that's not you being weak. That's your amygdala sounding the alarm. Because to your primitive brain, boredom feels like danger. Fear of failure feels like danger. Even the fear of not being good enough feels like a predator standing in the doorway. And when your brain senses a predator, it doesn't debate, it doesn't reason, it runs. Procrastination is not a character flaw, it's a flight response. Your brain is fleeing the task to find safety, fast, anywhere it can get it. So where does your brain run to? Usually somewhere close, somewhere easy, your phone, social media. Maybe suddenly you're deep cleaning your kitchen at 11 at night instead of finishing that project that's due tomorrow. This looks like avoidance, but it's not really about the task at all. It's about emotional regulation. See, scrolling gives you a small, quick hit of dopamine, a tiny reward, a moment of relief. Cleaning gives you a sense of control when everything else feels overwhelming. These aren't random distractions, they are subconscious coping tools. Your brain isn't avoiding the work. Let that sink in for a second, because this changes everything. Your brain is avoiding the feeling attached to the work, the anxiety, the self-doubt, the fear of doing it wrong, the fear of finding out you're not as capable as you hoped. So you reach for something else, something that regulates your mood faster than facing the discomfort ever could. And in that moment, it works. You feel better for a few minutes. But the task is still there, waiting, and now there's a new emotion sitting on top of the old one, guilt. Here's where it gets dangerous, because now a pattern starts to form, and most people don't even realize they're stuck inside it. It goes like this. Stress leads to procrastination. Procrastination leads to guilt. Guilt creates more stress, and more stress leads to more procrastination. It's a closed loop, a trap that feeds on itself. And the cruelest part, the thing most people believe will fix it, is actually the thing that makes it worse. You think, if I'm harder on myself, I'll finally get moving. So you say, I'm so lazy. I'm so pathetic. What is wrong with me? But your brain doesn't hear motivation in those words. It hears threat. Self-criticism activates the exact same alarm system we talked about earlier, the amygdala. It doesn't distinguish between an external threat and an internal one, a predator outside, or a voice inside your own head calling you worthless. Either way, the response is the same: shut down, retreat, avoid. So the guilt you feel for procrastinating doesn't push you into action. It pushes you deeper into the exact behavior you're trying to escape. You're not lacking discipline. You're stuck in a nervous system loop that punishes you for being human. So how do you break it? Not with more pressure, not with more shame. Those only feed the loop. You break it with two small, deliberate shifts. The first is the 5-minute rule. Don't tell yourself you have to finish the task. Don't even tell yourself you have to do the task. Just tell yourself you'll do 5 minutes. That's it. Why does this work? Because your amygdala isn't afraid of 5 minutes. 5 minutes doesn't register as a threat. It lowers the emotional barrier just enough to let your prefrontal cortex step back in. And most of the time, once you start, you keep going. Not because you forced yourself, but because the fear was never really about the task. It was about starting. The second is self-forgiveness. This one is harder, but it matters more. The next time you catch yourself procrastinating, try something radical. Don't attack yourself. Speak to yourself the way you'd speak to someone you love who is struggling. Something like, this is hard right now, and that's okay. Research on this is consistent. Self-compassion doesn't create laziness, it creates safety, and safety is the one thing your nervous system has been looking for this entire time. So the next time you're sitting there, staring at that blank screen, feeling that familiar weight in your chest, I want you to remember this. You are not lazy. You are a person whose brain is trying very hard to protect you from something that feels like danger, even when it isn't. The question was never, why can't I just do the work? The real question is, what am I actually afraid of underneath it? Sit with that one for a while.